Hello everyone. Let's quickly discuss the changes with respect to CFA Level 1 curriculum for the year 2023. As we all know that the syllabus across the exam terms in the same year remains the same. The syllabus goes through changes from year to year basis. Now, when we are looking at the 2023 curriculum, there have been quite a few additions and major changes in the corporate finance subject, or now as we call it, corporate issuer subject. Other than that, the curriculum has been more or less the same. We'll still very quickly browse through it. The reason being that the books have not yet been released. So once the book has been released, after that, we will be able to do a very detailed analysis of the changes. But nevertheless, I will tell you how to go about with the curriculum for the time being till the time books are released for the February 2023 exams. So firstly, as we see, we do not have any changes in the subject quants. So you can absolutely complete it without any problems whatsoever. In economics, there is a single subject that has been changed. So there is a single chapter that has been added. So this new chapter we will have to do. It is unrelated to any other content, any other chapter. So therefore, there is no problem. You can complete economics subject as it is, and we can do this chapter geopolitics later. So even if you've completed economics, the entire subject, except this chapter, there is no problem. You can come back to this chapter once we have covered in the live class after the books have been released and the lectures have been provided to you. So you can skip this chapter for the time being, obviously, since we don't have the books, but you can easily complete the rest of economics. Moving to the next subject, FRA. Now, FRA also has absolutely no changes. So therefore, there is no problem. You can absolutely complete the subject, financial reporting analysis, financial statement analysis, actually, as we call it. FRA is actually something that we've been calling the subject when I took my exams. So, and I'm habituated to using that term. So, financial statement analysis, you can do it absolutely comfortably. There is absolutely no change in the syllabus. Now, moving to this particular subject, corporate finance, and now as we call it, corporate issuers, there is a major change in the curriculum over here. Since measures of leverage is absolutely an unrelated topic, you can do this if you feel like. My personal opinion would be to leave this subject altogether till the new books are there and the new lectures are there. So that is my suggestion for the time being. But just to discuss, so when we're looking at corporate structures and ownership, what is a public company, private company, etc., a small new chapter getting introduced. Corporate governance, a little bit of impact of corporate governance and the risk aspect being covered. I would still say to skip this chapter since it is more of a non-numerical chapter. So let's do it once the new books are out. Business model is a small chapter, and particularly I'm looking forward to teaching this chapter. It'll be very interesting to discuss, and I'm hoping to see the curriculum which is very much aligned to, when you're looking at a business model and how the model is performing given the kind of business environment or economic environment we have right now. So this will be very, very interesting to observe the business model one. Uses of capital and sources of capital have very minor changes. So again, you have your NPV IRR over here. Working capital, just a little addition, I believe, is going to be made in terms of analyzing that, the working capital part. As in, sources of capital, short-term funding, and the impact part. Cost of capital is the same. You can do, but I would suggest not to do. I would suggest you to wait for this particular reading because this chapter you should be doing after sources of capital. Even though there are minor changes, I would still ask you to hold on to this. If you want, you can do this, but I would suggest you to hold on to this particular reading. When we're looking at equity again, uh, capital structure has got some changes, but I'm not sure. I'm not being able to make out from the LOS right now. So not too much of changes, but still there could be a little bit of deletion is what I feel that has been there. But my suggestion would be for the corporate finance or the corporate issuer subject, except for measures of leverage, leave the entire subject altogether and wait. When we are looking at the equity subject, this is totally the same, so there is no problem. Fixed income is again totally the same, so there is no problem. You can do it absolutely fine. With respect to derivatives and alternate investment, both of these subjects, I believe there is a lot of rearranging that has happened more than the changes. The basics of derivatives and the basics of alternate investment cannot be changed, but still, my suggestion would be to hold on if you want. sorry, my suggestion would be to hold for now, if you wish, and if you have completed all the other subjects and there is absolutely nothing else to do. I think that is not the condition right now, given that the exams are in February for this syllabus. But if you still want to, you can. Like corporate issues, I would tell you to wait absolutely. Derivatives, alternate investment, you still can. And whatever extra additions are there, you can do it later once the books are out and the lectures are out. But even otherwise, I think, but otherwise, if you haven't yet reached derivatives and alternate investment, you can leave these two subjects for the time being and come back to it later. Now, coming to portfolio. So, when we are looking at the portfolio subject, so you are looking at fintech is a little theoretical kind of a chapter, as in non numerical, and same as your introduction to risk management. So, although they have very, very minor changes over here, I would ask you to hold for this. For the remaining portfolio, you can absolutely complete because there are very minor changes, if any, and the portfolio theory is very, very interesting and you cannot change that exactly. So this you can do. If there's anything addition, I'll separately point that out and share it with you. So you can do with the existing material this one. So there will be no problem at all, because if you do not do part 1 and 2, you can't even do the other chapters, because I teach in a way where part 1 and 2 is done and accordingly the other chapters are taken care of. So it'll be better if you do this, provided you have reached portfolio. But these two subjects anyways unrelated and different, so you can hold out. These two chapters are not exactly connected to the remaining portfolio subject, as in you can do the remaining chapters of the portfolio subject and come back to it later. So therefore you can actually skip this for the time being, and even though there are small changes, we can come back to it later. If you still want, you're more than welcome to do so, because anyways there'll be very tiny changes and I'll mark the changes and provide it to you. And this is the same, so therefore nothing has to be done. So all in all, corporate finance is what you need to skip for the time being. Rest you can do the entire curriculum as it is and wait for the new chapters and the changes to be sent to you. So once the books are out, I will come out with another lecture with the details of what are the changes and what have been informed. I'll just attach the link of this PDF as well for you.